Banks and government officials with one thought weighing heavily on their minds. How can they stop banks from running into trouble again? Before them, new regulations to help protect the banking sector.
I think that the banking sector in the country is a critical sector for the economy, for people's daily lives, because people interact with banks virtually every day in one way or another. And I think that what we're trying to achieve here is to, in a constructive and a responsible way, through a summit like this, put some of the critical issues, not just facing the banking sector, but facing our country in developing our socio-economy.
The need for global financial regulation is becoming increasingly important given the financial crisis. But even though South Africa was barely affected by the crisis, it will need to conform to the rules and regulations set out by Basel III. This is no time for complacency.
We are not an island unto ourselves. If we want to play in the global arena, we have to play by the global rules. Having said that, we are in interaction with the regulator, with the legislative authorities. The Deputy Director General earlier talked about a task team to see, okay, if these are the regulations coming out of Basel and being adopted by G20 and the Financial Stability Board, how do we actually apply national discretion in implementing?
It will mean stricter financial regulation in the form of higher capital requirements, tighter lending and more transparency.
They are not isolated from, as I've indicated, we play in the same field with all the other banks, so it is important that we are subjected to the same regime. And the sooner that happens, and it brings comfort to all of us at a global level, because as you would know, we were not entirely, spared the adverse impact of the financial and economic crisis ultimately.
But the feeling here is that stricter regulation could mean slower economic growth.
We actually need to face these regulations, but we also need to continue our campaign of extending banking and allowing banking. And that is why we're also talking, because as a country we have another potential area that we are beginning to reach out to of the lower levels of the previously unbanked, and I think we will be able to do that as our proposed second-tier banking regime seeks also to continue to build a base, but compliance with also the international standards is an important one. But at the same time, we also need to look at how best we could also be able to grow the industry domestically.
This meeting promised a new era for banking and a clear message that as South African banks become more global, they will have to conform with the new banking world order.